RocklandWorldRadio.com.
We put the rock back in Rockland.
RocklandWorldRadio.com. It's not just radio, it's Rockland World Radio. RocklandWorldRadio.com.
It is 2013. Welcome to the Anatoly D Show. Welcome to the Anatoly D Experience, heard on Rockland World Radio every Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be sure to check out the archives for past programs, and you can join us in the chat room by clicking on the chat room button located on the left-hand side of our menu bar. Telephone number tonight, 845-353-2910. Now the host of Anatoly D.
Happy New Year, everyone out there in Internet Radio land. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Anatoly D Experience. I would have a guest tonight, but he was a little late with his dues to loan shark. So he basically had a contract hit. So right now he's floating in two rivers at the same time. News story. Lindsay Lohan was found sober in library reading a book. Nobody believes. Do we have first caller online?
Try it. Caller.
Hello?
Caller?
Hello. Who's out there in radio land?
Anatolia.
It's not Anatolia. That's my wife. My name's Anatoly D. Famous.
Anatoly D.
That D isn't it? We're not going to go into what D means. It's too long a name. Who's calling and what you want to bother me for?
This is Grigor, your brother.
Oh, Grigor. Great. Did you get out of immigration yet?
A little bit. I'm online right now.
You're what?
Very
You say you're doing a line now?
I'm doing a line right now. It's crazy.
You're doing line. Great. So 12-step recovery program is working for you really like a charm.
Like a charm. I met a dealer. I got a guy. He's got a friend. And I'm at this line.
That's great. Well, it's good to know that you're taking care of your health. So what did you do for New Year's?
New Year's, very lovely. Traditional turducken.
Black sheep of family. Actually, it's more like off-white, not exactly black. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I hear you clearly. I clearly hear you.
So what did you do for New Year's? Did you get out of opium then? Maybe like for a minute to look at sky?
I did look. I looked up, and there was all sorts of crackling and snapping. Then I realized I was stepping on a person's fingers. It was horrible.
That's great. So when you're going back to rehab? I think maybe tonight might be a good idea.
Start the new year off right, huh?
Good. You are good. Fine. You're going to start off New Year right. Well, what about your wife? Are you doing your alimony payments? Because I know she was on your ass for a while.
Oh, she pieced. She's so pieced. It's unbelievable.
She what?
Get a load of this. Get a load of with these broad deeds. I am paying her a little bit of money. All I got.
Why is your accent suddenly going into an Italian?
It's because the stuff.
I don't think you've been going to enough acting classes.
I'm drinking vino,
Okay, so you're doing a little blow, you're doing some crack cocaine, and you're drinking vino. You're a walking multi-addicted human being.
Yeah.
So anyway, actually, the reason he's doing all of these drugs, ladies and gentlemen, is because he was trying to find the first mouse-flavored cat food. He saw a niche in the market, and he said, "Look, it's got to happen. You've got to have mouse-flavored cat food."
My cat pees too.
That's great. Good.
I'm trying my Jamaican accent.
So
How's
how
it
is?
going, though,
Yeah, I
huh?
think by the end of this show, you're going to be going through the UN. Like, how many more accents can you? No, I don't answer that question.
You don't want me to do that?
Yeah, so he's actually working on a synthetic Viagra that can be bought at vending machines in Metro North. How is that going?
It's going good.
Good.
Business is good. Business is good.
I didn't think you actually would be able to put the chemistry together. How long does it guarantee that a guy can stay up?
Many, many hours.
Oh, good.
Many hours.
Oh, fine. Excellent. So,
Yeah.
so what are you going to be doing this week?
This week, long week, doing shopping on Amazon.
What you're shopping? You're going to get what? A prosthetic or something like that?
Yeah. For my finger.
So,
Prosthetic finger.
have you been noticing that on the Discovery Channel there are way too many documentaries about Hitler? It should be called the Hitler Channel. Every time you turn on the Discovery, it's Hitler, Hitler, Hitler. I mean, it's like they should call it like go on the website, Nazi.com. What is it that Nazis never die? People can't get enough of Nazis. It must be the mystique and that time of history where men wore army uniforms that were way too tight.
Yes.
Great.
Very-
Nothing like an exciting conversational volley. I always say.
He speaketh the truth, Anatoly.
Yeah, I think.
That's why-
So I hear you're going to Lenin's tomb next week. Are you going to pick up that nightlife for me? You know, the one that when you stick it in the wall, it keeps communism on all night.
It does. It does. They've got a special on Amazon. I looked it up now. If you have a Amazon coupon, 20% off. Very lovely.
Well, so this conversation reminds me of the last time I tried to have sex without a condom. It didn't go that well. It was too close for the comfort. So before you go, do you have anything to say to your friends out in Internet Radio Land?
I want to thank you all.
All right, well, be sure to get out of the crack den before the police come. And also be sure
I
to
will.
turn
I
off your
appreciate
cell
it.
phone. The last time you kept it on, you ended up in Attica for like 10 years.
Much love, Anatolia.
Take care.
Okie dokie.
Well, I've got to recover from that conversation. Let's see. One of these days, I've got to remember to tune this guitar before the show starts. It always goes out. It's got to be my mother. Hello, welcome to the Anatoly D Show.
Hi, Anatoly. This is Chera. I'm a landscaper in New Mexico.
How are you? That's great.
I'm doing pretty good.
How's the price of peat moss and cinder blocks? What's going on down there?
Well, it's just it's a crisis. Everything's just really expensive right now. But you know, before we get into the price of everything over here, I just want to remember to ask you. I've been seeing some information that's been circulating that you've been proposing an alternative to trees on the planet.
That's right. I'm working on a new replacement for trees, especially living in Nyack, where basically since I've been here, 10 trees have fallen on my car. And the thing about the tree is that once it falls, you can't grow it back. You can't grow the tree back. So I'm coming up with a new concept of artificial tree. It'll basically start with cinder blocks. Basically, cinder blocks last forever. And you'll be able to put on the cinder block some sheet metal. And over the sheet metal, you'll be able to put a cell tower. Because then you'll be able to get cell connection instead of being on the Palisades Parkway and saying, hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Oh, call dropped. Every time I go on that damn parkway, the parkway drops about 500 feet and the call isn't yet. Gone, finished. So all the trees will be replaced with cell towers. So even if you're on the Amazon River in a dugout canoe, you'll still be able to hear somebody in Bogota.
I see. Wow. Wow.
Or another way that we could go
I see.
is plastic trees. We could have like all of the plastic trees that are made for Christmas, we'll just make them for people's houses. We'll have 50, 90 feet plastic trees. It'll be beautiful. You'll never have to do anything with them, except in the summer they may melt.
Well, and when...
Well, what is your favorite tree now that my producer brings up the question?
My favorite tree? Well, I mean, I have so many favorites. I don't know if I could even... I don't have one. I have 10. I mean, let's start with the maple. I love the Japanese maple. It's so beautiful. And, I mean, I don't know what kind of trees they have in Russia, Anatoly, but I love trees, and I'm real concerned about, this proposal that you have.
This is beginning to sound like one of those Earth First phone calls. Are you a tree hugger, Taro? Do you consider yourself a tree hugger where you want to live in the tree with muskrat and squirrel, or not?
I've considered making a tree house and living in one. I don't know that I'd actually just want to sit in a tree and live in it, but I was thinking of maybe having a tree house built, a really fancy tree house.
Maybe put cable in.
Yeah, cables that you can swing on, too.
You could get maybe a little dish on top of it. It'll be good. Indirect heating. So let me ask you a question. Lindsay Lohan was found in a library reading a book in London. Have you heard about that? Totally sober.
Oh, my God.
It's amazing. I think she was acting. I think that's what the thing was. She was actually acting sober in the library with a book, just to fake people out.
Oh.
See, all my friends, they basically reach a point in the conversation. It's called saturation point, where they can't go a lot further. They reach the point, it's like, I think I can, and then...
How did she celebrate the New Year?
Yes.
And then we
so,
think
Tara, Tara, let me ask you a question. How did you celebrate the New Year this year?
I had the flu.
That's nice.
She flew where? Where'd she fly?
Well, you flew where? You went on Southwest?
Well, I had the flu. I was sick, so I flew into my bed and I stayed there. I slept. It was nice. I needed a good rest. But can I ask you another question?
Oh, absolutely. For you, anything.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, how gracious of you. For me, anything. Okay, so then maybe I'm real concerned now. I love trees. And you may be right. I really just want to hug trees the rest of my life. But I I consider that a good thing. And when were you thinking you were going to replace all the trees, or when are you proposing, and who are you going to propose this plan to, of like replacing all the trees with cinder block or plastic or something?
When you were hugging trees, were you naked?
No, I wasn't. I was fully clothed.
It reminds me of what they said. There was an old comedian. They said it was during the Christmas tree lighting last year. They said they were talking about Adam Sandler. They said, how can they plant a tree in Rockefeller Center when the sap's in California? Anyway, So you're going to have a tree. Well, you can build a tree house, right? Because you build. I was talking to Tara the other day about building a replica of the Kremlin at my house, and to be able to refab it into the Kremlin with the towers and the whole ornamentation, to be able to feel like I'm in Russia, because it's living with my life with my wife isn't enough being in like a gulag. I want to remind myself of what it's like to be in Soviet Union, perestroika. Do you think you could work that up for me?
I'm
Take
sure
your
I could
time
get
on
you
that
an-
answer.
Okay.
Not that
Yeah, let
much
me
time.
Okay.
That's way
Well,
too
I
much
think
time.
We could find an architect for you. I could do the landscaping. But, my plan's going to include trees.
Well, is it? Do they? You mean real trees or cell towers or synthetic plastic trees?
We can negotiate on that.
Yeah, good. I can't wait.
Maybe we could have, I don't know, a mixture. A combination of.
So, what are you eating right now, Tara? You sound like you've got your mouth full.
Yeah, I was eating chocolate ice.
Because I know you got some of these food issues down there in New Mexico.
Yeah, we eat a lot of green chili.
And that because it's different from Taco Bell, right? Because I just go to Taco Bell here on Route 59, and I put my life in their hands.
Oh my God!
So
Wow.
okay, guys, I'm ready to rock. Lay it on me. Let me have that beefy tostada. Let me have that nacho belgrade. But where Tara lives is New Mexico, near New Mexico. New Mexico, Old Mexico, it's down the hill over there. You've got great Mexican food, right?
Yeah, we also have what's called New Mexican food here, which is distinct from Mexican food. See, New Mexican food is all about the green chili, and Mexican food is all about the jalapeno.
It's all about
two
the
different
jalapeno.
kinds
Well,
of
that's what isn't like. That's what I say about internet dating. I hate internet dating because I keep on showing up in these restaurants and I'm looking for Katy Perry and I keep on getting Betty White. Something must be going wrong. You know what it's like to say to somebody in internet dating, excuse me, where is your great-great-great-granddaughter? Your picture's like a little old. Were you like during the Civil War alive? What did they defrost you? You've been on ice. I mean, I'm thinking like, what is it? Cryogenics?
Cryogenics?
Yeah, I think it's like a lot of the women that I've been meeting have been iced, but basically should be iced. That's when you freeze. You like Walt Disney when he died. And this is an interesting thing that a lot of you people are not going to care about, which is when Walt Disney died, they put him on ice because they're hoping that they'll be able to, I think he was frozen at Birdseye, Clarence Birdseye frozen meat. They put him on ice, and hopefully they'll find a cure for what killed him and they'll defrost him and then bring him back to life. So far, it hasn't happened. But somewhere he's there in some walk-in freezer. You walk in, there's a slab of steer and then Walt Disney. Okay, my friend, listen, I've got to go because we've got other callers calling in, and this radio station doesn't exactly have the highest tech equipment. Most of it was just taken from former Soviet Union border town of East Chechnya.
Oh my God! Wow. Well, I should let you go then. That sounds.
So thank you very much for calling in, and you'll be hearing
You're
from my
welcome.
lawyer in the morning.
Oh my God! Okay. All right. Good night. Bye bye.
Somewhere, ladies and gentlemen, is a lawn, a bag of peat moss, and some cinder blocks waiting for her. But, it's like, she's very devoted to her work. Let's see. I'm going to see if I can play. When I learned to play guitar many years ago in East Odessa, southern Chechnya, and Siberia, they forgot to teach me to turn the guitar. No, I learned. But actually, so my grandfather never actually taught me to learn the notes. He said, look, you're going to be able to make imitations of animals in barnyard. And by doing that, you'd be able to learn to play the guitar. So the first animals he taught me to play like were ducks. Not exactly like a duck, but close enough. And then he used to go out and get the cow in the middle of the forest every morning. He only had one cow. He used to bellow for the cow. The cow was had a very high pitch, much larger than that cow. And then he would say, we're going to do an imitation of the way baby chickens walk across my brain after a 3-day hangover with vodka. I'll do it one more time. Whoops. Now, if I did this long enough, you'd probably go insane. There's enough of that. So, anyway, I don't know how many people are going to call in, but you never know with this show. So listen, folks, let's talk about this. New Year's was not an easy thing for me to do. I wasn't able to go through the entire holiday without drinking too much vodka. Because, listen, it's very bad for you. It reminds me of, like, I've got enough voices in my head. I don't need to drink a lot of booze to get really destructive voices. I've got that now anyway. I don't have to be able to do that. But I don't know. Years ago, I had group therapy. Group therapy is a very strange process because when you go into group therapy, there are people that in the meeting that absolutely don't care at all about you, but they make believe they do. So they make up stuff. Another caller. I wonder who it is.
Oh, hi. Hi, is this Anatoly D?
Yes, it is. The very one, Anatoly D.
Well, I was going to call and ask you about your life in Nyack as compared to your homeland, but I was concerned about something you said about Adam Sandler, some kind of tree or tree sap or something. Could you tell me what you're talking about, Anatoly? Thank you.
Well, which which question do you want answered first?
Well, I think I want to know because I'm really sensitive to any comments about Adam Sandler. Because
now, why? Why do you feel that way about Adam Sandler?
I don't know, because he's so sappy and all, and I like that. So, I don't know. I just was very concerned about your comments.
Well, I don't mean that really seriously about Adam Sandler. Most people who are intelligent would understand that it's not in my nature to put Adam Sandler down or to in any way denigrate his professionalism or the fact that he's done about 15 mediocre movies. It's not for me to put him down or in any way to say anything bad, because it's not my nature. But one of these days he may make a good film. Maybe, what is it, Stand By Me? Lean Over Me? What's that one that he did? Rain Over Me. Don Cheadle. Don Cheadle, Reign Over Me. Did you see that?
So you like seeing Don Cheadle, in other words.
Well, he's a good actor. I mean, the thing about Don Cheadle, whenever he shows up in movies, he only plays one role, and that's Don Cheadle. The man has zero range as actor. He just plays Don Cheadle. Have you ever seen could you imagine Don Cheadle playing Shakespeare, or Don Cheadle playing like this insane gay transvestite, or Don Cheadle playing Russian talk show host? No, right? He plays Don Cheadle. He plays like guy that just came out of a meet and greet session for AIG. Hello?
Hey.
Oh, gee.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good.
Adam
You answered my
Sandler, on the
question.
other hand, doesn't exactly have the greatest range either. You can't see him playing Shakespeare or playing Jack Nicholson.
True.
What?
He played Shakespeare in Billy Madison.
Did he? I sit corrected. But the joke is that how come they planted? It was actually an old joke. The joke goes back to an old comedian named Fred Allen. Fred Allen and Jack Benny were like rivals, and Jack Benny said, well, "I'll do an imitation of Jack Benny." He said, like, "So, why do they plant the tree in New York when the sap's in California?"
Right. Okay. Thank you for clearing that up for me. I was starting to feel offended.
That was
but,
a good imitation,
yeah.
right, of Fred Allen.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Does this look like a halo on me? Let's see. I want to go back to the 60s. Yes, I'm feeling vibe of the 60s. Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Okay, life in Nyack compared to where? Siberia?
Well, if that's where you grew up, and why did you play so much guitar? I was just wondering. Anyway, thank you. I'm going to hang up and listen. Bye. Nice to meet you, Anatoly.
What did you say your name was? Oh, well. You win some, you lose some. Yes, I lived in Odessa, which is a beautiful sea town where you have very, very fat people on the beach. Very fat people. I mean, they look like beach manatees. They really do. They look like beach manatees. But they never know that they're that fat, because in Russia, the emitters aren't that big. They're like this. So when the guy's like that, he never actually sees it. He just sees this as, wow, I'm hot. So that's why they let themselves go. They never actually see the entire, you know what I mean, the entire picture of where they really look. But that happens. So I know living in Nyack is great. Is that call? No. Living in Nyack is great if you could be happy with just one newsstand. I mean, we actually have 3 homeless people that are paid to be homeless in Nyack. They walk around. They're on the clock. You know, it's not exactly they're not exactly a thriving metropolis. They come in, all right, you want me to show up? I'll walk around for another 8 hours. When do I pick up check? Friday? Fine. We have actually 2 or 3 dogs that were paid to walk around the street, piss on the fire hydrant. It's not, it's like they try to have local flavor. Nyack isn't exactly the antique capital of Rockland County that it used to be. They've got one guy who's got a couple of lamps. He's got a couple of lamps in the store. They come from Nanuet, they come from Blauvelt, they look, hey, he's got 5 lamps. Good, let's get out of here. It's not what it used to be. I'm waiting for my friend Gosha to show up, but I think she got a little hammered. I don't know if she's going to make it out of bar. An ambulatory, if you know what I mean, folks. Anyway, no, so Nyack is, oh my God, clearly that man's been smoking way too much. I'm very happy about that. I don't smoke cigarettes. I occasionally do crystal meth and Oxycontin, but I don't do any cigarettes. It's because, why do I want to endanger my health? Because people forget, if you have a Big Mac twice a week, that's like 2, 4, 6, 8 Big Macs a year. No, 8 Big Macs a month, and that's 88 Big Macs a year. So let's even it out to 100. That's 100 blubber burgers that you're snorfing down your pie hole every year. You don't think about that. You just think, what am I going to have for lunch today? You didn't think over the last month that you had, like, is that a mouse? My God. It's either a mouse or a rat. Very industrious animal. You're not thinking in terms collectively about how many Big Macs you've had in the last year. It's scary to think about. Okay. Next week I'm definitely bringing back guests. This is like workout in gym. I'm using muscles I don't even think I have. So, how much is the time like?
As much as you want.
As much as I want. This is man. He's saying this. He's saying, okay, let's talk about your childhood. Anyway.
So the Russian New Year is a little bit later than everyone else's New Year, so you must just be celebrating New Year's recently, right?
Yes, I was first celebrating Jewish New Year, which is 5768, the rent of studio apartment on the Upper East Side. That joke never works. But no, I'm going. I'm celebrating. I'm getting ready for Chinese New Year, which I think is the year of the social worker. But yeah, so I'm trying to stay away from internet dating. It's just like you're in a situation where you're always in the internet dating. Did you ever do internet dating years ago? No, you're a smart man. Because you show up in internet date and it's like God saying, okay, you want it easy. You just want to go to profile, call up, woman, go through a couple of insipid phrases. Oh, it sounds like we've got phone connection. Is a lie. Your phone connection is worth the paper it's written on. It means nothing. You're going on the phone and it sounds like you've had best friend for many years. In reality, you never want to see them again because you show up and you've got Golda Meir sitting in front of you. You've got Mother Teresa. Oh, it's Disneyland.
It's the Kremlin.
Oh, it is the Kremlin. I didn't know it was the Kremlin or Disneyland. But, yeah, so it is not exactly the most enjoyable environment. I think what I'm going to do is, until my neurons go back and, in effect, play another guitar tune. A lot of people I've been talking to about my show, they say, you know, Anatoly, the thing about you is that we like to hear you talk to guests. But the thing is, my guest had a contract put down on him, so that's why there's no guest tonight. Next week, I'm going to have Bolger and her laughing accordion. Yes, the dogs are after him, folks. I always think about, whenever I tune the guitar, it sounds like a lot of my relatives who have been complaining for years. It's like, it's like saying, oi. It's like a person who's complaining. I remember my first guitar teacher. A woman whose name is Mrs. Ricky. She had a mustache. She smoked a cigar. And I remember we had this terrible guitar book. It was called Alfred's Basic Guitar Method. It is like you were playing really bad tunes like Mary Had a Little Lamb, La Cucaracha, Bring Me Back to Old Sorrento. And it was horrible. It was like she'd be sitting there with a ruler. You'd be going... Wait. by now you can see the Jewish influence in this music. It was the only Jewish tune approved by Al-Qaeda. Well, the new Defense Secretary of the United States, he's not actually Defense Secretary yet, who's going to be before the Senate, is definitely, the guy is very anti-Israel. And it's the funny thing about it is that when anyone is anti-Israel, it's a major political issue. It's a major obstacle about them doing anything within the government. But you never hear anyone who's anti-Switzerland, or anti-Latvia, or anti-Bulgaria, or anti-Brussels. Although Brussels is pretty funny now, because Gerard Depardieu, the French actor, went to Brussels to apply for citizenship, because in France it's 75% tax rate. How can you charge somebody 75% tax rate? You've got to have balls the size of grapefruits to do that. So Putin said, listen, come over to Russia. 14% tax rate across the board. But I don't know. I don't know if I'd be able to do that. I think I'd stay in Brussels. It's a lot safer. At least in Brussels, you can keep their money. Well, the bribe rate is a lot lower. In fact, my barber was telling me that in Russia, when you get pulled over by cops for speeding, your fine is based on what kind of car you have. So if you have like a really big Mercedes SLR 300 and you're speeding, $5,000. If you've got a 79 Hyundai Sonata, $50. So it's very strange the way the cops have the jurisdiction to define the fee based on that. And I think it's really bad that Pussy Riot is in jail, but it's you think that Russia is moved beyond having a couple of whack jobs in a rock band offending the prime minister of Russia. I mean, why jail Pussy Riot? Keep Pussy Riot out, right? Isn't it better to keep them out and flowing and being in that? Okay. So we're going into winter. I wonder. So we're going to be getting snow. It's going to be one hell of a winter. Let's see. What did I miss talking about today? Yes, with your yoga positions. I saw my yoga teacher today. She was telling me about some of the positions that she wanted to use to maintain the former Soviet experience, which is captive, hostage, and dead. So I was working on those. Anyway, all right. So I came to America and I was trying to make aluminum siding a full-time career. I just didn't find enough emotional dimension in it. Is that for me? No. Good. Niet. Okay. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a great show. Not for me, but maybe for you. And next week we're going to be back with a guest. We're going to have Vlad and his electric accordion. And maybe Gosher is going to come by and show erotic poses of what it was like to grow up in housing projects in Soviet Union and what she had to do to get newspaper delivery. She'll be able to tell you those stories. So be safe. And thank God the holidays are over. I was almost going to have nervous breakdown. So until next week, das Svidonya. Don't take any wooden rubles. Be peace.
It's not just radio, it's Rockland World Radio. RocklandWorldRadio.com.